it's Rebecca here from Precious Pages Papercraft, and today I'm designing a layout for my creative scrapbook. And I'm using the May main kit today, which features Crate Paper's Gingham Garden collection, and it's a really pretty collection. This kit is just beautiful this month, full of florals and pretty patterns, pretty colours. It really is stunning, so I was super excited by this one and couldn't wait to get stuck in. I've been wanting to create a layout with triangles for so long now, and I never do it. It's always on like the back burner, and I decided that today was the day. So I cut myself a triangle template from a piece of white cardstock. You might have seen there I had to adjust it slightly. It wasn't really symmetrical. I just can't draw triangles. I really struggle with them, and hexagons as well. I can't draw those. I've got metal dies for hexagons, thankfully, but I don't have any for triangles. So rather than firing up my silhouette, I just used my T-square ruler to help me. But I've cut two triangles here from two of the patterned papers. Lovely, beautiful colours, and they're really subtle patterns as well. They're not overpowering, they're beautiful. And then these florals you see to the left here, those have all been fussy cut from another of the pattern papers. I don't know about you, but I love it when I see a new collection released or a new kit and it's full of florals. I love fussy cutting florals. They're just so easy to use and you can use them on anything. And years ago, there was a time where I wouldn't dare put florals on a boy layout. But I found it was really restricting what I could use and the collections I could buy, because lots of collections come with florals and it just meant I couldn't use them. So I decided to embrace them, and now I think I use them on literally every layout and I love them. So I was really pleased to see that this kit had lots of florals in it, so lots and lots of fussy cutting potential. We also get a really pretty stamp set this month as well. It's from Jen Hadfield's Peaceful Heart collection. It includes 12 rubber stamps, so loads on there. And I'm using this little leaf cluster here and an embossing fluid. So I'm putting the embossing fluid on the stamp. I've got a Dalbar here and I've got a pen. I tried both and I've gone with the Dalbar. And you just coat the stamp in it, stamp it on your cardstock as normal, and then I'm sprinkling an embossing powder over that. And then with my heat gun in a second, I'm going to kind of heat that up, and it melts the powder and almost sets it. And if you've never done heat embossing before, it's really magical to watch. I love doing this. And you'll see in a sec, I'll just show you on the camera. There you go, look, it's so sparkly and pretty. It's just a different way to use stamps. So I could have just stamped those directly onto my background, but I thought this was so much prettier, and it gives me that lovely sparkly gold as well, because some of the florals in this collection do have gold foiling on them, which is really pretty. So I wanted to have that little touch of gold. So I've repeated that 3 times, and then I'm just going to fussy cut those out, and I'm going to nestle them in amongst my floral clusters. So I skip through the rest of that fussy cutting for you, and you can see here I'm just going to arrange them on my background. And I've got those 2 triangles in the centre facing opposite directions, and I've printed a square photo today. It's about 2.5 inches squared, so it's not as big as I would normally use, but I wanted something small that didn't overpower everything else on the layout. And now I'm just going to get everything kind of stuck together as best I can, because I want to add a little bit of mixed media to my background, and I don't want to have to keep moving everything off the page and then bringing it back in to see if I'm happy with my kind of background coverage. So I find it much easier, where possible, to stick everything together, and then I can just move it off as one piece, or at least 2 kind of large pieces if one piece isn't possible. But it just makes it so much easier when it comes to applying mixed media. And I don't have to place things down on my page and rebuild them and touching the wet ink. I can now just kind of hold it hovering over the background, you'll see in a minute, and it's just really easy, and it means I'm not getting anything messy or ruining anything. So I've got most of that stuck together now. This little postage stamp here I think is super cute. It's got a little butterfly on it, and I'm just tying a little bit of twine around it. It's got like a postage stamp edge, like little semicircles cut out of it, so it was really easy to tie this twine around. I'm just going to have that loose end dangling down like that, really pretty. I've also got this roll of Hessian in my stash. I've had it for years and I used to use it a lot, but not so much lately. And I thought that the Hessian colour really went well with this collection in this kit. So I'm going to bring in a piece of that. And I initially wanted it horizontally across the page, but I just didn't think it sat right. So I've gone for vertical instead. And again, sticking things down to that. So again, I can move it off as one piece. Now it is slightly longer at the moment than I want. And later on, possibly even off camera, I do trim that down a bit to make it a little bit shorter. So I've just added some sellotape to the back there just to make sure it does hold, because sometimes glossy accents doesn't stick to the Hessian very well. But there you go, you can see I can move that on and off as one piece now, and it just makes life so much easier. And I've got a set of art crayons here. I've had these for donkey's years. They must be over 20 years old now. They are from my GCSE art days, when I was probably like 16, and I've still got them in my stash. They are very similar to Vicky Boutin's art crayons, and they're water soluble, so you can mix them with water. As you can see there, I've done on some packaging. And then just use the packaging technique, or here I'm actually using a kitchen sponge with a scouring side. I find that a really easy way to apply mixed media, and it gives me a lot more control as well, and I like the effect of it too. It doesn't soak my background and I still get the odd kind of white spot showing through, so I really love that. And then just adding some splatters on top in each of the colours. And I've tried to pick out colours that work with this collection. So I've got a peachy colour and like a minty green colour, really soft, pretty colours. And I'm just adding two areas of mixed media, kind of opposite direction to, diagonally through the page, in the opposite direction to those triangles of patterned paper. I just think that looks really pretty and just gives a little something to the background, but it's not so busy that it takes away from any of the beautiful products on the page, because I'm not one for having so much mixed media that it just takes away from everything else. I still want my photo and my embellishments to stand out, so I didn't want them getting lost on a busy background. So just a little bit of subtle ink here I think just makes a world of difference. And then I'm going to use some double-sided tape just to stick that sheet of Hessian down there. And then I will raise all the edges of those florals up with some foam to create a bit of dimension. I love to have lots of texture and dimension on my layouts. It does mean I don't fit as many layouts in an album as I probably could, but I'm okay with that. It just means I have to buy more albums. But I do love to have all this dimension on the page. It just makes me happy. So I do get through a lot of craft foam. Bringing in a little touch of gold now, because I've got that gold embossing that I used with the stamps. This is a set of stickers we get with the kit, the main kit. They're again from Crate Paper's Gingham Garden collection. There's 91 stickers on here, so loads to play with. There's lots of florals, there's some little banners, there's leaves, there's stars, there's tabs, there's everything. And they're super pretty, and they're also not quite transparent, kind of like translucent. They're really pretty. The gold ones I've stuck down directly to my background, but in a few of my other layouts I've stuck these stickers to white cardstock just so that they don't get lost when I want to stick them on top of patterned papers, because they are a little bit see-through. But super pretty and a really lovely product. Not something I've worked with too often, but I absolutely adore them. So I hope to see those again in future kits. They were fab. And we also get a patterned paper that is a 12 by 12 sheet of coloured butterflies, which is another thing that makes me happy. Florals and butterflies, I love to fussy cut. And we get, I think it's 5 or 6 different coloured butterflies on this paper. You can just see it off the edge of the camera there. And it's just beautiful. So I fussy cut a couple of those and added them to that Hessian. And then you'll notice in the close-ups off camera, I have also added a few sequins as well. They're just a Spiegelmum scrap set I had in my stash. I think it was called Papaya Punch, or Maggie's Dream it might have been, but they work really nicely with this kit. So I've just added a few of those in for a little sparkle and another texture on the page. But that is me done. So thank you very much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'll leave some links in the description box below to the My Creative Scrapbook website, where you can sign up and buy your kits or subscribe to get monthly kits. And I'll also leave a link to our Facebook group as well. But thanks very much for joining me, and I'll see you next time.